going on, everybody? Welcome in. The North End Podcast, episode 24. Our Nick Lima episode. Also, our Kobe Bryant episode. My name is Zach Graham, your host here on the North End Podcast. A busy one today, both on the Austin FC side of things, the MLS side of things, and of course, some off-season nonsense to close out the pod. But getting ahead of myself, as per usual, alongside me, my good buddy, on record as my best friend, it's Ian Michaud, a.k.a. E, a.k.a. Lee James, a.k.a. Sebastian Drew Easy, a.k.a. Eastradamus, a.k.a. Pap E. O'Daniel, a.k.a. Chili Willie E. Sitting here on a Tuesday, January 3rd. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to you. Again, we spent New Year's Eve together with a good group of our buddies. Now 3 days later, how you feeling?
Doing well. Excited to chat more Austin FC, the exciting things that we got today. I know we get ahead of ourselves sometimes, but it's because, we got good things to come.
Yeah.
That's just good business.
It's always exciting to be kicking off a new podcast for the week. And again, like I said, we've got a lot to talk about. We're recording this Tuesday afternoon, January 3rd, 2023. And it's been a busy morning in the Austin FC universe. So I say we go ahead and get right into it. That international transfer window opened up on New Year's Day. So again, we've got a lot of MLS news to talk about, probably rapid fire all of that. All the happenings in the last 3 days, things coming. Like we said last pod, that the news machine was going to be moving fast and furious when we reconvened, and that is the case. But again, starting off, as always, with the Austin FC news. We have, I don't know about the answer, but we have a backup keeper. This morning, the club announcing Matt Bersano signed. He will occupy a senior roster spot. So just right off the bat, that's the first thing that caught my eye. Senior roster spot. To me, that means Damian Las will be the starting keeper for the next pro team, and we'll see Matt Bersano on game days, mostly on the bench, hopefully, right? Unless we need heavy rotation for Brad Stuver. But you and I have seen and yelled at Matt Bersano before. He comes to us from the San Jose Earthquakes. Bersano, let me get to the press release right here. Played for the Earthquakes from 2017 till last season. The first 3 of those seasons under contract with San Jose. He was on loan with Reno 1868 FC of the USL. He had 57 appearances for Reno, kept 20 clean sheets, and the team qualified for the USL playoffs in all 3 of his seasons there. But only 2 appearances for the big league club. 1 in relief and 1 as a starter last season at Q2 Stadium. So Matt Bersano's only MLS start came his first 45 minutes as a starter in the North End. So we did tag our new member of the Verde family on Twitter, say, hey, we can't wait to see you back in the North End, and we'll be a little bit nicer this time. Prior to San Jose, Bersano was with the next pro team for the Sounders. We know that team is the Tacoma Defiance. I think certainly one of my favorite names in that next pro league. Went to Oregon State from 2011 to 2014, and then Penn State in 2015. The contract is for 2 guaranteed years and a club option for a 3rd in 2025. Bersano, a native of Arizona. So, I guess your thoughts on the Bersano signing. It appears that he is the Tarbell heir to that backup position at goalkeeper.
I feel more like it's an answer to our Damian Las questions.
Yeah.
And I don't want to write Damian off by any means. Obviously, we know the pedigree. We know where he's from. I want to see him do well. So initially, I was like, man, that really sucks. It's like, Damian's not not going to be something that we can rely on. We don't really know his trajectory there. But looking at it now, if he's on that next pro team and we can get some quality looks at him in the net, see what we have, and go from there. Obviously, we know what we have at the starting lineup in Big Stu. And, you know, I got to be honest, I wanted it to be Damian. For sure. But, you know, if he's not up to snuff right now, it is what it is. And Bersano comes in, and with where we're trying to go next year and what we're trying to do, you know, we gotta be solidified at all those positions.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously extremely important to have somebody that's at least serviceable behind Stuver. And like, for all the guff we gave Andrew Tarbell at times in his limited appearances for the club, because like he wasn't on the same level as Stuver, and like the club obviously saw that right off the rip when both of those guys arrived at the same time prior to the 2021 season. I think I'm with you on Loss, and I think, like, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think both of us just wanted it to be Loss because we wanted to be excited about this young keeper who came from Fulham's academy. But I mean, I do think it is still a good thing for Loss that he will be getting those minutes. Because, like, say we bring in a guy who, pedigree-wise, or at least from the club, like, was seeing a new signing as the third keeper, then you're probably not getting a ton of Damian Loss minutes because you're always going to need a second keeper on the game day roster. And who's gonna be that next pro keeper? So to bring in this veteran, you know, MLS veteran in Bersano, with like not too dissimilar of a story to Brad Stuver, in my opinion, like just like, again, an MLS vet, not as much of a journeyman as Stuver, but again, a career backup to this point in MLS. You know, so hopefully he just is able to provide the club with, like you said, that security at the position.
Competency.
Exactly.
And Tarbell was competent.
Yeah, and again, I think it's a great sign for the minutes for Damian Loss, and then we will actually get to see him play if he is the starting keeper for the next pro team for the majority of those 28 games coming up this season. So yeah, welcome Matt Bersano. No smoke, I think, for the backup keeper signings.
Darn.
So yeah, let's go ahead. There was another update to the roster, this time on the coaching staff side. Two changes announced early this afternoon by the club. First, Nolan Sheldon, who served as an assistant coach through the Verde's first two seasons. Nolan Sheldon is now moved into the role of technical advisor. And from the press release, as technical advisor, Nolan Sheldon will work with the club's first and second teams, in addition to their academy, to ensure that the players and coaches at all levels are aligned with the philosophy and methodology of the club. Sheldon initially joined Austin FC again ahead of the inaugural season in 2021. Previously spent 10 years with DC United, 5 as an assistant coach. Claudio chimed in the press release and says, with the addition of Austin FC 2, the club now has a complete pathway from the youngest age levels of our academy through the first team. Having Nolan Sheldon in the role of technical advisor will help align the club's player development structure while allowing for players to transition smoothly between levels.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's, always good to see this offseason when there is moves being made to shift us to this new procedure, the new structure of the club, having that in between. And I guess the correct term that the club wants us to use is pathway. It seems. So, Nolan Sheldon, Coach Sheldon, going to be playing a big role in that pathway. And the second announcement was that the club has hired Terry Boss to be a new first-team assistant coach. I assume sliding into that spot vacated by Coach Sheldon. And Terry Boss, especially to veteran fans of the MLS, probably a familiar name. Here is Coach Boss's resume. He spent his last 5 seasons as the head coach at Oregon State.
Oh.
He was the Pac-12 Coach of the Year in 2018 and 2021, the latter season of which Oregon State achieved a number 1 ranking nationally and a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. So obviously, Coach Boss was doing really good things at Oregon State. While he was at Oregon State, he coached new acquisition Sophion Jeffel. Both of those guys.
I was going to say, I keep hearing Oregon State.
Yeah. So, and
wasn't Bersano there? Didn't you just say Bersano?
So that's what I was going to say is Bersano, also a Beaver, but their times did not overlap there at the universities. But we have, just in the last month, added 3 Beavers, both on the coaching side and the roster side.
I almost went to Oregon State.
Really?
Yeah.
To who?
I legitimately did. Hopefully, in a walk-on position. But yeah, I was accepted, good to go, and I was like, damn, that's a long way from New York.
Opposite side of the country.
Yeah. Oh wow, I don't know. There's some sort of Beaver connection here.
Yeah, Dave. Hey, we'll take it.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys have a pretty good track record at Oregon State. Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, I'm glad you didn't go to Oregon State because we wouldn't be here right now.
True. Good point.
Glad you weren't a Beaver.
Anti-Beaver.
Coach Boss was also an assistant coach for the U.S. men's national team in 2019. He played 7 MLS seasons between New York Red Bulls and the Seattle Sounders and has 7 appearances for the Puerto Rican national team. So Coach Boss, we're going to be seeing a lot more of him around on the sidelines, around the facility. I'm sure sometimes popping up in some of those social media posts and videos. Any other takeaways from those 2 moves?
That's a boss move. That's all I wanted to say.
All you got to say. Very good. Couple rumors that are still circling. Still waiting on updates on Czech Toure. The initial report was that the club had already signed, or maybe not signed the agreement, but come to an agreement with the player, and it would be announced around the Christmas window. We're now past New Year's, so maybe a couple snags in the this clause or that clause. I don't know. We'll see.
There seems to be plenty things that can snag you up in MLS contracts and international deals and citizenship and visas and the entire
the way that they go about their business. We have no window like some of the other major American sports, and the coverage on that and how much they disclose from negotiations and actual contract agreements, etc. So it's a waiting game on Toure right now.
It's all right.
And apparently we talked about Felipe the Remix last week. Felipe Gutierrez, the Chilean player, MLS vet, La Liga vet. I believe Copa. He's a very established player, 32-year-old midfielder. Apparently, some South American clubs now trying to get in on Felipe Gutierrez. So far from a done deal, it appears with Austin. But we'll keep everybody apprised on the Felipe situation. Here's the most pressing matter and position, I think, now to be sure. Update on Ruben Gabrielsen. I think we've come to terms over the last 2 weeks that he is gone, but it is a reality now. I guess not an official reality, but today he was in Norway at Lillestrøm's training as a guest. That is his boyhood club, and credit to Hernan from We Are Austin TV on the Top Flight podcast that came out yesterday. He and Primo were discussing that the Norwegian club Molde, which I'm sure is not how you pronounce that, but they described them as kind of the LAFC, or Hernan, as a Real Madrid fan said. They're the Real Madrid of the Norwegian league. They've got the money to throw around. They're the most successful, etc. Apparently, they are now in the mix. Ruben has played for both of those clubs, and apparently the number that Molde is offering is around $4 million, which is 4 times what Austin was paying him, I believe. And I assume more than Lillestrøm's going to pay. So, it seems like maybe Ruben is in this kind of inner dialogue fight with himself about, the emotional side with Lillestrøm and that being his boyhood club.
Yeah.
Or taking the money as a 30, soon to be 31-year-old center back with Molde there. So, again, I think this can be our official farewell to Ruben. And we'll have a surprise party if he somehow came back. But I think both of us resigned to the fact that he is now gone. So I will just say I appreciate the one season of work that he did for us. I do not question ever his effort, his dedication to the club while he was here. And I harbor no ill will towards somebody who wants to continue their professional career elsewhere. Like, that is completely up to the player. And, like, I would have more of an issue if there wasn't reportedly this clause in his contract where he can get out of the contract here instead of at the end of the 2-year deal next January. So I wish Ruben the best, and I'll be keeping up with him from afar, to be sure.
Absolutely. Nothing but gratitude for Ruben and his season here. One of my favorite players. He was a staple for our defense, a great leader. Seemed like a really good guy too. I'm not going to fault somebody for wanting to go back home and get paid $3 million more a year potentially. I don't see how anyone can really argue with, him as a human being, understanding that that's probably the right move for him. Mm-hmm. A big loss. He was a great contributor for the squad and will be missed.
Yeah, man, and like I wouldn't be surprised either if, like, after all this is settled, that something comes out where he had some sort of family thing that really was the catalyst for all of this. Because like I could certainly understand, like, he came over here, even though everybody should know that it's going to be hot as shit the whole season in Austin. Like, maybe it wasn't like super fun.
Maybe you don't really know, because I didn't. Really
right. And now you do.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, but if this is why we love you, E. You stayed, Ruben, getting out of town after 1 year.
I did.
You were in and out
a lot, but
you got your honorary Austinite card now.
I came back. The most interesting thing to me in this scenario is the clause.
Yeah,
I want to know if that is commonplace.
Right.
For, certain players of a certain caliber in MLS contracts. I want to know if maybe he had the foresight to understand that this opportunity would be presenting itself after one full season in Austin.
Right.
Those are the only things that, like, I have questions about. Never questioned Ruben. And, like you said, we will be keeping up with him for sure and definitely wishing him the best. And as stuff comes out about this, if it does, we can analyze that too and take a look. But to me, it's the clause. How was that negotiated in? What was the intention there? Because it doesn't look like we have that elsewhere.
Yeah, like I think that's a good point. And it's certainly not something that I want to see in any more contracts. Like, I mean, especially for a player of that caliber, like, that's so integral to the starting 11. Like, the early out is, from a fan perspective at least, like, not great. If that's what we have to put into a contract to get a game-changing player onto the squad, then again, we trust in Claudio.
Yeah.
But just on paper, and I think at least my emotions certainly playing into it, I don't like that clause because, like, it's just the uncertainty that it causes now with Ruben out. But again, we wish him the best, and we'll go ahead and move on to talk about his potential replacements, who, again, we have discussed multiple times on the stream, or not on the stream, on the pod, excuse me. First up, Leo Väisänen, the center back, 25-year-old from Elfsborg. Apparently Elfsborg is asking for 1.8 million in terms of a transfer fee there. So not cheap. Nope. I think would be the most expensive center back signing that we've had in club history. I mean, 3 off seasons of club history, but still, is not just any guy here.
Yeah.
in Väisänen, and there's been some more, not official Precourt Verde smoke,
Mm-hmm.
but there's been some more smoke from, and especially from news outlets across the pond, talking about this transfer being close to done. So between Väisänen and Hassan, again, I'll try my best. Kurasai, I think, is how you say that.
Yeah.
The Turkish 25-year-old center back. Nothing new that I could find on Hassan, but we do know, again, that he's out of contract. So we mentioned it, I think, last week. I think there's still a possibility that we get both of those guys.
I agree.
Because, again, Kleeman is gone now. He's in Florida in the USL. And we already, he tore his ACL on loan in like his first match last year. So we were rolling with 4 center backs already. And with the reports that Kip Keller's going to spend a decent amount of time on the next pro team, which, like, I don't know if I fully buy yet. Like, I kind of want to wait and see. Or unless we hear Josh or Claudio say that.
Yeah.
I think he's in line for certainly more minutes with the first team than he had last year.
One would hope.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we have to have one of these two guys, again, with like minimal to no knowledge of the two players and film on the two players, for us two at least, I would prefer Väisänen. He just seems to have a decently higher profile from those in the know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I would be a little bit more excited on paper to bring him in compared to Kurasai. Any difference in opinion for you?
No, I think there's a legitimate reason why they're asking for $1.8 million in the transfer there. There's also a legitimate reason why Väisänen is a 25-year-old under contract and Hassan is not.
Sure.
But I do think we can land both of them as well, and probably need to, given the goodbye we just gave to Ruben there. And with Kip, man, that is one of the biggest question marks for me going into this next season is what are we getting out of him? Are we going to just have this loaded next pro team, that we have a bunch of talent on, and which is cool. I'm cool with that for sure. Yeah. But there was never a point in time where I watched Kip make like consecutive plays that were like, okay, he doesn't belong on the field with these dudes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's a pretty amateur analysis of, his performance, but it never looked like he was just in over his head, that he was out of place. I mean, obviously he had one red, got that red. Yeah. He had the one red, but that was soft. If I recall properly.
I agree.
If I recall properly, I think that was a bad call. So yeah, he's one of my biggest question marks going into this next season, and what he's going to be able to contribute to the squad here. And obviously, I think he would do very well at the next pro level. Yeah. But I hope we can land both those guys, and let's have a little competition to see who gets those minutes.
Yeah, and if it is just one of those center backs, like let's say it's Väisänen, like I think if we don't bring in that fifth center back that is clearly competing for starting minutes, I think that's an endorsement of not just Kip Keller, but Johan Romano as well. Keep in mind, he's 24, I believe. Like, he's a young guy as well. So, I guess we'll just have to wait and see on center back. Let's jump into some rapid fire MLS news here. First up, Heber to Seattle, traded from NYCFC out there to the Sounders for $400K in GAM. Heber, 31-year-old forward. Again, maybe Austin fans not as familiar with him, since NYCFC remains one of the clubs that we have not faced and will not face in the 2023 season. 24 goals. Yeah, exactly. 24 goals, 6 assists in about 3,500 MLS minutes. So Seattle, I think reloading, not rebuilding, reloading after missing the playoffs for the first time in club history. Other Seattle news, Christian Roldan, that's a name. Close to a new 5-year extension with the Sounders. Apparently there were multiple MLS clubs offering, and some outside of the league clubs making offers as well. But he's going to stay home.
Rightfully so, for sure.
Yeah, so Seattle, I think, doing good business there and going to continue to be a team to contend with, right? Another team that we have not beat yet.
They should make some noise next year for sure. I know that when we were discussing potential playoff seeding, and they were just looming there. And I think I said I wanted to play them. But yeah, they're going to be good, and they should be motivated. They also will not have that jam-packed schedule that they had. So yeah, you're going to see their best for sure next season. And I think they're going to be a force, a team that when I do my way too early, where does Austin potentially get placed is really right there.
Yeah. Well, and to just jump back into the Austin segment here for a bit, we did see the first run of Caesars Sportsbook MLS title odds. Austin fourth in that list, 12-1. So Vegas still believers in the Verde and Black.
So we got to drop a little coin on that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I wish they were doubting us a little bit more.
Yeah.
Bring out the laminator, but. Yeah, we'll keep rolling through the MLS news here. Vancouver signed 23-year-old Uruguayan center back Matthias Laborda on a free transfer. He was out of contract with Nacional. He won 3 titles with the club. Again, he's 23, 101 appearances. So, young, successful center back heading north of the border to the Whitecaps. This was a big one. This was one, it's not often that the other MLS news makes it into our group chat, but this one did. LAFC signed Croatian youth international winger Stipe Biuk. my best guess at B-I-U-K.
Yeah, I'm not throwing my hat into that.
I do know I've seen the name Stipe before, so I know that is how you pronounce his first name. Stipe is a 20-year-old who had 6 goals, 8 assists in about 4,000 minutes with Hajduk Split in Croatia. I believe that's his hometown club. He was named one of UEFA's 40 for the future and was with the Croatian national team at the U21 Euros. He will be a U22 initiative signing for LAFC. I see you grimacing. I feel the same. Your thoughts on the big signing for the reigning champs?
Oh, rich get richer. Everything coming out of that camp for Stipe there is positive news. He's a stud.
Yeah.
They again, when we were discussing where are we going to fall, where are we going to land, they're the ones that are up there at the top. So I mean, it is what it is. It's not great, but we've made our splashes here. We've done some things, and we're flying more under the radar than them. But yeah, he and Croatia, man, just routinely, criminally underrated.
Yeah,
as far as soccer goes, like it's absurd. And he's going to come in and be a force there for some years.
Yep. I mean, first of all, Croatia, country of like 4 million. Just the imprint that they have on this game is incredible for just the size. I mean, 4 million, that's,
Yeah.
It's like 4 Austins. You're fielding one of the best soccer teams in the world out of Croatia there. So, definitely not a signing that I like to see come across the timeline. I don't know. I don't think Stipe is like quite on the Ricky Pooch level.
Yeah.
But he's like right behind, and he's certainly like, you take a look at our U22s, which again, like we have 3 of them. Musa clearly up top, Kolmanic with the unspecified to this point knee injury. Yep. We think it's an ACL. And then fucking Rodney Redis is occupying one of those spots for us. Like, and so it's just like, it's not a competition between this signing, at least on paper, and I'll say at least 2 of our U22s. Like, Musa obviously flashed big time at
Yeah.
the end of last season, but I don't think either of us are taking that as an idea that he would be coming close to what people see in this prospect that LAFC just signed.
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be fun to watch him. It's going to be fun to watch him when LAFC is playing other teams.
Right.
But yeah, the rich get richer for sure.
So Mazatlan out of Liga MX, and I think I may have butchered that club name as well. That is the club that we will see in Leagues Cup group stage. We will host them at Q2, and they will be bringing along Akeloba from Nashville, which was a absolute disaster for Nashville. Akeloba was a DP, so this opens up a DP spot. He started 2 MLS matches for Nashville.
That is a disaster, to say the least. A disaster that I'm glad we avoided. But
right.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe some people would argue maybe we're not out of the woods yet with that newest DP signing, but I know you and I don't feel that way.
Nah.
I mean, I think it's addition by subtraction, right? Okay. Like, look at Nashville. You take that team, and now they can go get another DP.
A good point.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
they're out of our conference now, but still.
Yeah, we had a nice little back and forth with them going. It was pretty cool. But yeah, if they can fill that role, that spot there, that DP position, with another nice little talent, that's going to be a formidable franchise again, a formidable team.
Yeah, and they were on the Top Flight podcast yesterday. Hernan and Primo were going through kind of a year in review, and they did biggest disappointments. And my kind of off the board one was our 2 matchups with Nashville as biggest disappointment for last year, because I think if you win at least one of those, it just bolsters the Driussi MVP campaign, because so many pundits, it felt like, at least on the Austin side of things, it felt like so many pundits with that first game where they just beat the shit out of 3-0, I think, with the brace from Mukhtar, and he took the golden boot. Then, like, there was already a little bit of steam on Mukhtar, but after that win, that was huge. And then to not be able to get the result when they came to Q2, it almost solidified it. So I think that was one of my biggest disappointments last year. And like you said, it's going to be a nice little addition if they can add another DP quality player to that Nashville roster. Our buddies out there in Charlotte FC, big signing for them as well. Signed English defensive mid Ashley Westwood from Burnley.
Wow.
Yeah. EPL signing. Westwood, again, 32 years old. He's got 286 Premier League appearances with Burnley and Aston Villa. Nothing else to say. Big signing for Charlotte. I'm assuming they are geeked up for that.
They should be. A true professional over there in the EPL. Comes in with a lot on his resume, and I think when you get these older defenders coming in from these more, from these larger leagues, these more prestigious leagues, I just feel like they are routinely the more successful of these signings that come over. From the type of talent they've seen in regard to attacking them, and then what's coming at them now, a great signing for them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Charlotte not on the schedule again for Austin this year, but no doubt going to help elevate their floor on the defensive side of things.
Absolutely.
Sources are expecting
last year.
What's that?
They were a great story last year.
Absolutely. I mean, they were certainly better. They had better results than Austin did in their first season. And like, I felt a little lucky, honestly, to go up there and get 3 points on that Danny Pereira just awesome goal.
I mean, even the support from the city there, that was really impressive to see. It was awesome to see. And just another move in the right direction. And I don't know if there's Charlotte FC podcasters out there, but I would imagine
there are.
I would imagine. I would imagine they're pretty excited about it, as they should be.
Yeah, and I think the only thing, to be honest, that I find unsatisfactory with what Charlotte has done is just the fact that they're owned by fucking Tepper. I mean, he's Anyways, sources are expecting a decision soon on center back Aaron Long. Obviously, that's one of those big names that's still out there in free agency. Reportedly, there are 2 clubs from the league in on him still. Seattle are reportedly the favorites. Also, Inter Miami lurking around, Cruz Azul and Monterrey from Liga MX, and a few European clubs still sniffing around on Aaron Long there. So I think by the time we are talking next week in the MLS news section, I think we're going to have Aaron Long potentially to Seattle. Again, reloading, not rebuilding out there in the Northwest.
Absolutely something to keep an eye on and will have an impact in the Western Conference if he does end up in Seattle for sure.
A little closer to home here, and a big name signing. Houston inked Brad Smith to a contract. You know, that's a big name. He's 28 years old, but was playing with DC last year before tearing his ACL mid-season. He's got 79 MLS appearances with DC and Seattle. He was playing for one of the few vets that appeared in the match for Seattle in our inaugural season at Q2. And of course, Brad Smith previously with Bournemouth and Liverpool. So Houston solidifying their defense a little bit, raising their floor as well back there, signing fullback Brad Smith.
I would say good for them, but
fuck Houston.
I won't say it. I could. Those are words that I know. I have those words in my vocabulary, but I'm not going to use them.
Yeah. We'll push past the Dynamo news there. Chicago signed, and here this is French as fuck. Chicago signed Arnaud Sonquet from Montpellier. That contract is through 2025. Sonquet is a 30-year-old, 148 appearances in that French top flight division, which, you know, if we're getting French as fuck here, I believe it's Ligue 1. And again, 148 apps with Montpellier and OGC Nice. Not such an uncultured swine to say nice there, but I do think Chicago fans probably saying nice to that signing.
Yeah.
Another big one here. This just came across this morning. Latif Blessing was traded from LAFC to the New England Revolution in exchange for $400,000 in GAM. Blessing, the 26-year-old, has 170 MLS appearances between LAFC and Sporting KC. Obviously won the double with LAFC last year. Requested a trade mid-season. Kind of, I believe it was like right after their transfer window when he kind of saw the writing on the wall. Like, hey, I'm not in this rotation really anymore. Apparently LAFC really wanted to keep him. We know they have depth everywhere, but did oblige to his request, obviously. So Blessing going out to the East Coast to play with the Revs. And 2 more things here. One more that broke today and one a couple days ago, but I wanted to save till the end. First, Olivier Giroud potentially coming stateside. Apparently some MLS teams are interested, and the idea has not been completely shut down by his camp. 36-year-old forward, obviously was just playing in the World Cup final. Aging star, but I think still a player that any club would like to sign for the right price, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's certainly, that's not a long-term thing for any club that's going to acquire a 36-year-old forward who is very much taking a step down in terms of the quality of league that he would be playing in. So that's something to watch, Olivier Giroud. Hey, you want to go be the most handsome man in whatever city you choose? Like, you can go do that.
Well, not in Austin.
Well, yeah, we're up there in the north end, but
we can't sign him then, I guess. No, he's going to be a good sign for whatever team. That dude can score goals.
Exactly. I mean, fuck, man, I would take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I think we are pretty much set up there, but hey, if we can add him, I'm not against it.
Yeah, I would scar my face up so he could be the most handsome guy in Austin. throw some acid on myself.
Oh God. Well, okay. So check this is live podcasting here that everybody's listening to after we have recorded. But we did just get the latest FIFA ratings refresh.
Nice.
For MLS. 6th highest rated player, Sebastian Driussi.
Okay.
79 now. So the top 4, Lorenzo Insigne, 83, Giorgio Chiellini, 82, Carlos Vela, 81, Gareth Bale, 80. So 3 of those top 4, I guess Carlos Heel out there in New England, 79 as well. Other 79s, Reynoso, Mukhtar, Bernadeschi, Zelarayan, Pozuelo, and Chicharito Hernandez. So there you go. I mean, I have to go download the update tonight. Wonder if they got Zardes on the squad yet.
Ooh, that would be sweet. But that seems to be a pretty solid rating there, given those names ahead of him. Obviously, not just MLS guys, world-class talents.
For sure.
Yeah.
And also just LAFC up top. Fucking 3 of the top 4.
Yep.
But we'll take it. Maybe, an informed Driussi exceeds 80 mid-season next year. Back to the last piece of MLS news, and this was a piece of news that did not happen, but was reported on after the fact, and pretty fucking wild. Sporting KC was a close second to Al Nassr to sign Cristiano Ronaldo. And by your expression there, I guess we didn't talk about this in the group chat.
What?
Yeah. So check this out. Talks were ongoing for weeks, apparently. SKC is the MLS team with his discovery rights, so they would be... I think they would have, for somebody else to acquire him in the league, they would have to trade for those rights, I think.
How did you get those?
To be honest, I don't, and maybe it's time to do another edition of MLS salary cap / rules training camp in the offseason, but I don't know how you acquire discovery rights, but obviously... we know that you have to have those to sign a player that has discovery rights around the league. Like, to sign Driussi, Claudio had to trade for his discovery rights from Miami. I think it was like $50K in GAM.
How do you just have the discovery rights to Cristiano Ronaldo?
How do you have him to Driussi? I just something will maybe for next podcast. But
wow.
I mean, yeah, man, check this out. Like, they said, obviously, package had to be something to get Ronaldo and his camp's attention. Just trying to scroll a little bit down my timeline here to get to that story.
Who is reporting this?
Tom Bogert.
Holy.
And Taylor Twellman. Yeah, and it was for real. So check this out. This is just a direct quote from Bogert. Package was very good. The plans were being made to make it happen. Talks were ongoing for weeks. It was a real possibility. Apparently, again, those weeks included Patrick Mahomes stepping in and exchanging messages with Ronaldo in his camp, kind of trying to pitch the, you can be the biggest star in the league in a small market here in the United States. Now that we're such a, we're just an online, population here. And we've seen that like at NBA, right? Some of the top stars can stay in those smaller markets and still make just as much money as they would have 20 years ago going to one of the big 5 cities. So yeah, man, I mean, the fact that we were, I think... that
is absurd. Could they not scrape together $200 million?
Yeah, a year. I mean, but that's the thing is they say like the package was very, like they said it was... I haven't seen the word comparable, but like very close is the wording. And like the fact that the reporting is that Ronaldo's and his camp entertained SKC for multiple weeks.
That is actually mind-blowing.
Yeah. I mean, how fucking cool would that have been though?
Oh yeah. I mean, it would have been amazing. I would have been shocked, just at a loss, but
yeah.
I mean, how do we stack up against the Saudi Arabian league that he went to? I think MLS is above it. I'm would
no
say so,
pro
right?
on the Saudi Arabian league. Yeah, but
not that I'm super informed on the Saudi Arabia league, but I would say that we're a step above that.
Right. Well,
he took $200 million to go play in like the USL.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that low, but like, yeah, I don't, and maybe somebody can chime in and help us out there again when it comes to just like the global soccer community where we are but mere peasants. and trying to climb the ladder a little bit there with our knowledge. But yeah, man, just definitely wanted to touch on that. Because, like, and again, it's a 2-year deal for him at Al Nassr. I think now we have to think it's a serious possibility that he comes after that.
For sure.
You know, maybe him and Messi coming the same year after his new PSG deal is done. I don't know the details around that potential deal, but maybe he has a clause that he can get out of after 2 years and come to MLS. So
I would imagine he can do pretty much anything that he
does. Yeah, that's a good point. Well, that wraps up the MLS offseason news segment of the pod. We're going to jump into our nonsense here. Maybe not as nonsensical as last week with all the basketball talk that segment entailed. What we're going to do here, everybody, is, you know, Ian and I, big fantasy sports nerds, play all the fantasy football. Obviously, I work in the daily fantasy industry. So we are going to do a fantasy draft of Murga De Austin's song list. And there's 20 official songs on the Murga website. And again, if you've never been to the site, lamurgadeaustin.org, you can find the songs, some of the clips, links to their YouTube channel, the QR code to share the song list with any of your friends, whether you're, you know, at home watching the match, bringing them to Q2 for the first time. That QR code can be found on that website. So shout out to
that's
Murga.
awesome. Yeah.
And so what we're going to do here, fairly simple, 20 songs. We are each going to have a team of songs, right? We'll call me my team seat 18. We'll call yours seat 19 since those are our seat numbers. There in row 11. Or 12. What row are we in again? Section 123. So we're each going to draft 5 songs. So only 10 of the 20 songs will be drafted here. And we have a couple audio clips to go along with the potential picks. I do not have audio clips of all 20 tracks. So just like a green room at the NFL draft, the NBA draft, not all of the top players are invited or attend.
Correct.
So we'll see how it goes.
Some of these players could drop, you know, they could fall.
Yeah. So, I will cede the first selection in the draft to you, and we will go snake style. So actually, I will give you the choice. Do you want first or second pick? Again, if you take second, you get the third pick.
I'm going to take the second pick because I don't think you're going to take my song, and that way I can get both songs that I want.
I think that's a good move because I think I know, just again, based off you being a good buddy, on record as my best friend, I think I know what your number one wants to be, but I don't know if you could take that song number one overall.
I could.
We'll see what you do here. But I will gladly take the number one selection here. And I'm just going to go with the classic, the anthem. Give me all right, all right, all right. Number one pick selected to Team 18. It's the anthem.
Beautiful.
We gladly welcome all right, all right, all right to the team. And now with the second pick to close out the first round, Team 19 on the clock.
Team 19 is proud to select Pepas. Because it just gets me so lit. I don't know anything that's being said, but it is provocative and I love it. I was on a boat this past summer, and I was like, "Hey man, can you play Pepas?" And he's like, "No, I'm not playing that song anymore for anyone else." And I was like, "All right, I get that." So yeah, I'm going Pepas, and then with my back-to-back selection, my personal favorite is Makala.
Yep. See, that's what I thought could maybe go 101 to you, but again, at pick 2, it's Pepas. All right, so the first round, rounded out, for lack of a better term, with the first pick in the second round, Team 19 selected Makala. And it just, since while we're here, and we've just kind of alluded to that being one of your favorite tracks to hear on game day, any explanation for the extra love on Makala for you?
I don't know. It's just always...
You connected with that song right away.
It's always hit for me, and that's how songs work for me. If I like it right away, I'm in. I'm all the way in. I'm sold. I'll listen to it. I think it's because I know most of the words. So I can sing along and really get into my groove there. Really show off the old pipes. No, it's a fun song. I really like it. Get into the ooh la la.
Maybe pull out your phone with the flashlight on it. You never know. Pick 3 overall, the first pick of the second round. Makala to Team 19. A good pick. I knew that was coming in those first two for Team 19. And so now Team 18 back on the clock here to close out round 2. Again, I am the Austinite from birth out of the pair of us. So really any of the songs directed more towards just Austin are some of my favorites. So with the 4th overall pick, Team 18 will select El Equipo de la 5-1-2. I mean, that's, I'm also a sucker for the chance that at least the chorus is simple enough for the entire stadium to get into.
For sure.
And when everybody can hold up their 5-1-2s and yell that out, I love that. So there you go. I've got
Very
all right, and 5-1-2 on the team into the third round now. And I'm gonna make this pick not necessarily because it's the one. Well, I do love this song.
Okay.
We're gonna go ahead and draft Ole Ole Ola. I knew that was gonna come for you next, so I had to scoop him up at pick 5. Ole Ole Ola to Team 18. It's a jam.
It's a jam. Yeah. Shout out to Murga, man. Just awesome.
Yep. So, and I would also say, just jumping back to your third pick overall, Makala, I believe in season 1, with the initial track list that Lemurga rolled out, I think that was the only one that was 100% original. I think that is correct. Maybe if there's anybody with that knowledge for sure, let me know. But I believe that is another attribute of your second pick. So now, pick 6 overall, your third of 5, Team 19. Who are you going with?
This is a tough one. I definitely was looking at Ole Ole Ola there. I mean, I think I'm just going to go classic Dolly ATX here.
Yeah, and Dolly ATX, although it is, the classic, it's common, I think, kind of around not just the league, but soccer in general, did still get an invite to the green room. So with pick 6, Dolly ATX.
Love it.
Yeah. Like, that was the one that I was actually in between Ole Ole. Like, I wanted that Dale ATX because, again, like I said, my affinity for the chance that everybody can pick up on easily their first time there. There's just a different feeling in the stadium when you get 20,000 people chanting rather than just, the diehards and the supporter section. Any other words for you on your third pick there?
A great song. Just watching that clip there just makes me want to go sit in supporter section.
Mm-hmm.
So bad.
Yep. Or just be back. Like,
I mean, we got to do it. It's on our bucket list.
Yeah. For sure.
We got to sit over there at least once.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted to keep that one. I went with Makala there with my 2 and Pepas at 1. So I felt good throwing an ATX name, official ATX in there.
It's a high floor pick.
Yeah.
It's solid. That's not going to bust ever.
Yeah.
You're getting what you paid for with Dale ATX.
All right. So I'm back on the clock again, huh?
Yes. Pick 7. Your fourth.
So I'm seeing Colors here by Black Pumas, which is just an absolutely incredible song.
Mm-hmm.
Is that available?
It's available to be selected. I mean, that is on the track list. We do play. I mean, I think, and again, I think the capos, etc., the people who direct La Murga and all that could say it a lot better than me. I think that song is kind of a let's feel out the vibe in the game and throw it in if we can. Because I don't think that's an every match tune. But it is available to be selected, not in the green room.
It's an incredible song by a really great band. Obviously, Austin band.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I think I'm going El Equipo de la 512.
I already took that.
You did?
Yeah. That was my second pick, first pick. That was my second pick. After all right.
I gotta fire some people in my war room.
Yeah, you got to get the good information. You're not keeping up with the draft board.
I meant
it's a 10-pick draft board.
I meant to say I'm going Verde Negro.
That was actually next best available on my board, and somehow Mel Kiper's Verde Negro 7th overall pick to Team 19.
Beautiful.
I know some of these clips are like a little bit long, especially for just an audio format, but I can't cut off the tracks early.
I'm glad you're not. And all this is doing is really just getting me so excited to go back. And we inch ever closer to soccer church.
Indeed.
And
as our buddy Jeremiah would say.
Some teams, they need to repent.
Okay, so draft recap here. 3 total picks remaining. Your 4 picks were
Pepas, Mikala, Dale ATX, and Verde Negro.
A very solid team.
Yeah.
So far.
So
I had all right. I had El Equipo de la 5-1-2. And Ole Ola. So my 4th and 5th picks here to round out the team. With my 4th pick, I'm going to take another, again, a very a common song, a well-known song, not just in the soccer world, but I think globally. I'm going to take Bella Ciao, otherwise known as Verde Black in Austin FC circles. So pick 8 overall. The 4th pick for Team 18 is Bella Ciao. feel good about getting Bella Ciao at the end of the 4th round there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there were some teams who didn't have their draft boards updated.
Yeah. So one more round here, one pick each. Team 18 will be closing out their draft with the 9th pick overall. It's a classic. Again, both in the Austin FC circles and certainly worldwide. It's the Verde Submarine at pick 9.
Very nice.
I mean, and the thing about Verde Submarine, like, that one is so screamable. And, like, you could change it up, like, especially like we do that in the North End, right? Where, and of course, they do it in the supporter section first. But when you could yell, I'm on the trees. Yeah, we live. Yeah, I mean, we have a blast with that one. So I think that is some pretty great value there in the final round of the draft.
That was a nice way to round out the squad, for sure.
So the final pick, some might call it Mr. Irrelevant, but not here.
I'm getting my Tom Brady, my Brock Purdy right now.
Oh, wow. You're Brock Purdy. 10th overall pick, the final selection of the draft.
I'm looking at True Love Will Find You in the End.
Mm-hmm.
When played at the right time.
Sure. Well, that's how we close out every home match, right? That is the players come over.
When played at the right time, when I'm not upset. When played at the right time and I'm not furious at what just plays.
Right.
But it's just been staring at me this whole time, and I think I have to go Colors here.
Yeah.
It's just such a good song, and with the live band and all that, really awesome.
Yeah. And can you imagine if we get the entire stadium in on singing Colors?
Oh,
like that would be fucking sick.
It'd be awesome. It would be incredible. It would soothe all racial tensions in the stadium.
Well, hey, baby steps, right?
Yeah.
We're only 2 years in.
No, that would be awesome. Yeah. Okay. I know that they weren't invited to the green room.
Yeah.
Now they're really feeling like my Brock Purdy.
Yeah, absolutely. You're Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant.
For sure.
So to recap, Team 18 here went all right. Then we grabbed Cinco Uno Dos. Then we grabbed Ole Ole Ola. And then on the final turn, it was Bella Ciao and the Verde Submarine. That was Team 18. So Team 19, your 5-pick recap.
Oh, let me pull her up again, huh? All right, we went with Pepas with the first pick there, just because it's awesome. Makala. Yep. I also had obviously Colors at the end, Dolly ATX, and Verde Negro.
Yep. Yeah, so I think, I'm biased here on Team 18. I'm going to say Team 18 edged out Team 19 a little bit. Okay. I think you may think the other way around. Anybody who's listening to this, stuck with us through the fantasy draft of La Murga's tracks there, let us know whose team is stronger. And also, maybe, let us know who, a sleeper that we didn't pick. There's a couple in the green room here. Dale Austin, the La Bamba version of, that La Murga plays. Our only track dedicated to a player, the Diego song, Diegoles, was not selected, was also left in the green room. So just like Diego in real life, snubbed from the All-Star game, his song snubbed from the La Murga fantasy draft. But we'll see, we'll see what happens next year. We'll have some more tracks to choose from. And thanks for playing along there.
My pleasure. I think your team is probably more Austin centric, a little more ATX focused So I might give you the edge just because I'm a gentleman.
Okay. Well, I think you just have. I think your team is just kind of the vibe team there. Like starting out with Pepas and Macalla.
Yeah. It's all bangers. We're partying.
Yeah. I mean, Pepas was, I think that's the track of the year, right? For season 2.
Oh, hell yeah. That's so good.
Yeah. Well, appreciate everybody humoring us there through our off-season nonsense segment. That's going to wrap us up here on episode 24 of the North End podcast. Our Nick Lima episode, our Kobe Bryant episode. We'll be back next week, I'm sure, with another deluge of Austin FC and MLS news. And, of course, some off-season nonsense. So if you're listening on a podcast app, wherever you get your podcast, if you got 5 seconds to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, we'd greatly appreciate it. Again, trying to grow our own legend in this Austin FC fanverse. If you're listening on our YouTube channel, hit subscribe, like the video, and you can hit the notification bell to know when new episodes go live. You can follow us on Twitter at the North End Podcast. And that'll do it for us. For E, I'm Zach. Until next time, everybody, vamos Austin FC. Goodbye.
3, 2,